Conservatively, we have tricks up our sleeve, but not the time to use them yet.
All right, plenty of time left. Let's go back upstairs to you, Joe.
Bench was pounding on the side there for getting someone's attention as Bullen works on Grant. Now Teat back in for Grant. Ball's on the carpet, still loose, and it is controlled by Glenn Clark, or is it? Now everybody's in there, but they rule Toronto ball.
Joe, Les Bartley didn't like the setup that the Toronto defenders had there. Here you see Bullen sticking it. Grant's passed the ball off, and he's not leaving him. He's staying with him. And you'll see that all game. He's not going to give him too many inches.
Dan Stroup. Crowd getting into it here in the final 3:37 of the fourth period. Pass inside. Gill scores! What a game for Gill! Chris Gill's fourth goal of the game, and it's 11-10.
Russ Hurd makes a nice play here for his third point. Everybody thinks that Hurd's going to take the shot. You're going to see a big shot from Hurd. He's got an opening. That's what everybody thinks is going to happen here. That's what I thought. And just as two guys come out at him, he flips it over, and Chris Gill finishes it.
So Chris Gill scores his 16th of the season and his 4th of the game, and the Toronto Rock own the lead again. They've never trailed in this game.
And that they triple team Russ Hurd on what they thought was going to be a shot, and that was a nice scoop pass, nice flip pass.
Here's Veltman now, trying to take it to the net. He is fouled, and Hasen takes it around back of the goal. Now it is awarded to Rochester as Hasen brings the ball quickly up the middle. Hasen now dishes off, and on the far side it is Jacobs. Duane Jacobs. Now Bomberry gets a pick from Mearns, gets the shot. No, he fanned on it. Ladouceur adding some size in there as Watson controls in the goal crease. Off for Squire. Rod Squire will bring it up on the near boards with 2:53 to play, and the Rock by one. Ladouceur has played a lot more in this fourth period than he did in the first three. Backhand try by Kaleb Toth didn't work. Colin Doyle for Veltman. Langdale, 5 seconds left in the shot clock. They got to get it away, and it's off the goal post and into the crowd. And so it is turned over to Rochester. Tonight's Turning Point brought to you by AOL Canada. New pricing, unlimited use. Stay on as long as you want. And here's the goal that gives the Rock the lead, but the turning points, there still may be a few left.
Many turning points in a lacrosse game with 3 minutes to go, Joe, in a one-goal game. So
Powell.
Toronto's hoping that's a turning point.
Trying to go wide. Being chased. Got the shot away, and a big save by Bob Watson. Look how far out of the goal he was there. Anticipating the shot by Casey Powell. Here's Coyle. Off the bench it goes to Stroup.
Toronto wants to start taking the 30 seconds now on every offense. You see Jim Veltman standing back calling for the ball.
Stroup tried to move inside. Hurd takes the ball from him. Big Russ Hurd trying to back his way in and got the shot away. Doyle with a rebound and controlled, and the fresh 30 comes on the clock. Minute 32 left. Colin Doyle taking it outside. Hurd gives it back to him. Colin Doyle. Inside pass for Stroup, back for Doyle. Shot off the post, and it is controlled now by Brad MacArthur. Quickly back up the floor for Rochester as fresh troops coming over the board. Pass inside, back for MacArthur. Couldn't control it. MacArthur with it again. MacArthur working in front. Gill is chasing him. They've got some offensive people out there on this exchange. Here's Grant trying to move in. Chance over top of the goal. Rebound with 8 seconds left in the shot clock. This is Molosky. Pass inside, went off the official and onto the mesh and smothered by Bob Watson. 47.8 seconds remain in the fourth period, and Toronto leads 11-10. Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Chevy Trucks. Like a rock. Boy, that is a tired Terry Bullen. He has played a tremendous game.
You know how tired those guys are. Toronto really got burned on the fast break on that turnover, Joe. And a lot of that is just where the bench is. They've got farther to run, and they are just exhausted. They've got to be really careful when they get the ball here. They've got to turn it over in the corner. Look at Terry Bullen work. He's been all over Grant all night. He's exhausted. He's twisted his ankle in the first quarter.
Great ISO of Terry Bullen. That's 36 years of age, 6'4" and 225, and he's had enough. The Toronto native is over to the bench. He previously played with the Detroit Turbos in this league.
And every year is his last year, Joe. He plays every year like it's going to be his last.
Well,
and Toronto's glad that he keeps coming back.
The timeout is completed, 47.8 seconds, but here is your point again. With more than 30 seconds left, you know that Rochester will get the ball back, or at least should get the ball
Toronto's
back.
got to try to kill as much as they can, and then if they're going to turn over the ball, turn it over in the corner. It's not too likely Rochester will go the fast break unless there's a real good opportunity in front of them.
Good play by Langdale to get to half. He works in now on the right side, looking to protect the ball. Pass inside Doyle, and he shot wide over top of the net. Now 30 seconds left, and a timeout taken here by Rochester. Colin Doyle thought he had the goal that would have given them the 2-goal lead. It's sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't, isn't it?
That's a tough one with that amount of time. If there's less than 30 seconds, Joe, the rule is never shoot, no matter what. Just kill it. But even that one, I don't know. He probably wishes he didn't shoot. It's tough. It's tough though when you're a goal scorer like that.
And you got the chance. Yep. Well, 11-10 is the score.
I think the coaching staff at this point would have been happy if Colin didn't shoot on that one. Kill another, because what was there, about 47 seconds?
Of course, by the time he got the pass, he was right at the net, and I think you just instincts tell you, here's my chance, instead of pulling it up. Yeah, it is. So whether the mistake was the pass or whether the shot, it's hard to say.
Well, if Toronto gets the ball again, there won't be another shot.
31.3 seconds remain. Let's see who they got out defensively. Veltman, of course.
I don't know why they've got Paddy O'Toole on the floor still. I guess.
Nope, he's walking off. Glenn Clark, Dan Ladouceur, Pat Coyle. Of course, Terry Bullen is out there. So the Rock have got their size out there defensively, but 6 attackers on the carpet now.
They can't play man on man when they're outnumbered.
No, so they've got to play some zone here.
Grant a little bit of room.
Grant up top, and a whistle now, and
what
turnover.
A play. Get that ball to Jim Veltman now.
A turnover.
They knocked Pat Coyle's stick out of his hands.
Oh, brother, what a huge turn of events that is. And Toronto's going to call a timeout. Was it Bullen who had the stick knocked out of his hands?
Pat Coyle. I think it was Rusty Kruger knocked the stick out of his hands. Former teammates in the summer. I didn't see it, but Bill Fox saw it. Didn't like it. He called him on the minor interference, which is a turnover.
Well, Paul Day would like to have a word with the official. He was pounding on the side of the boards there, hoping to get him over, but to no avail. So a huge turn of events there in the final seconds of the fourth period as the Rock now have an opportunity to kill off the remaining seconds of this game without taking a shot.
Exactly, and Rochester won't put Paddy O'Toole back in the net.
They'll pressure the outlet. They'll pressure it. We're going to get a look at it.
Here you can see, watch Pat Coyle here. Grab the stick right out of his hand. And it wasn't Rusty Kruger, it was Kurt Malowski. That was a dumb move considering Bill Fox was watching. If he wasn't watching it, it's a great move if you don't get caught.
Well, it is at this particular point in time, I would say, a rather stupid move.
Now I said they weren't going to put Paddy O'Toole back in net, but they proved me wrong. I don't think it's a wise choice.
Now, what hasn't happened is Bob Watson is not back in goal. So Toronto's got an extra player out there in order to try and kill off this clock. Now Watson will hustle to the goal, 8 seconds left. Gill can hang on and win this game. The Toronto Rock are going to go 10 in a row on the carpet at Maple Leaf Gardens and will take over first place in the National Lacrosse League standings. The 4th victory against 1 defeat, and they avenged the loss in Rochester last week, but they do it by the skin of their teeth.
Paul Day is going directly to the referees to have a discussion. But I think when we saw the replay there, Joe, there wasn't much you could do if you see that right in front of you.
If he slashes the stick out of his hands, I guess it probably goes without any kind of a thing, but when you grab it right in front of the official like that and walk away with it, there's not much you can do.
Not much you can do if you do it right in front of the referee.
So the Toronto Rock on a goal by Chris Gill, his 4th of the game from Hurd and Stroup, is the difference in this one as the Toronto Rock edged the Rochester Knighthawks by a score of 11-10 in a great game in front of 14,000 at the Gardens.
Molson Export Rock Lacrosse, brought to you by Molson Export. Rock this. Midas Car Care, the way it should be. Chevy Trucks, like a rock. And by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. And welcome back, the hero of tonight's game, Chris Gill, no less than 4 goals, including the winner. You talk about fought in the trenches. This was what happened here with Rochester this evening, Chris.
Yeah, we had a bit of a scare there. We played some pretty hard ball at the end, made a few mistakes, but our defense and our goalkeeping, that kept us in this game. And you know, Herbie made a great play to get me open there, and we got a goal on it. It was great.
The bottom line, the Rock found a way to win.
Yeah, we always seem to find a way, but last week we're a little upset about what happened. This is a big win. I think we're going to roll from here.
10 straight wins here on home floor. You did it for the fans. They're going to come back to see this game versus Buffalo in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. There are 6 men on the floor, 7th man including the goalie. They're big time for us.
Chris Gill, another big game, 4 score. Back upstairs to you, Joe Bowen.
4 score and more, I guess, Paul, as Chris Gill wins it with his goal, his 16th of the season and his 4th of the game, as the Rock outshoot Rochester 50-46. But a great game played here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, it was a great game, and we spoke about Gill before the game, but we can't forget the game that Terry Bullen played too.
He was outstanding defensively in front of Bob Watson. And let's go downstairs now to Paul.
So the Toronto Rock win it by a score of 11-10. As mentioned, 10 consecutive wins here at Maple Leaf Gardens, dating back to last year, and perhaps another event between these two teams coming up in just a couple of weeks' time in terms of the postseason. Sports Central is coming up with Mike Toth and Jamie Campbell. You've been watching Toronto Rock Lacrosse here on CTV Sportsnet.
Team Canadian Fantasy Camp, where Canadian hockey greats will train you and 5
in the early going. 2 goals in the first minute of play, 2 of them 15 seconds apart. Here's Powell again, and another penalty coming to Toronto. Powell going around back of the net. 6 attackers on. Powell tries to stuff it in, but it's stopped by Watson.
Joe, John Grant's father was a great player in his day, and he was famous for this pass. You see his son doing it over the shoulder. And you'll see Johnny Grant Jr. doing a lot of those too.
Rusty Kruger of Orangeville hit the post on that. There's John Grant.
His father was a famous player, played for Philadelphia in the old pro league. He's another Peterborough boy, and he used to make passes like that all the time from up top of the power play.
O'Connor gets a holding call. Second power play of the game. Both have been to the Rochester Knighthawks, but the first one blew up in their face, and it's the difference on the scoreboard. The short-handed goal by Dan Stroup that made it 3-0 at that point. But Rochester's come back rather impressively here to get back into the game, 3-2. Jacobs, inside pass, bounces off the near glass. It's a turnover, And there'll be a turnover to the Toronto Rock. Molson Export Rock Lacrosse, brought to you in part by Molson Export. Rock this! Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Chevy Trucks. Like a rock. Penalty killing now for the Rock. Squire dishes off. Gill couldn't handle the ball initially. Gets double teamed. Now is able to get free. Comes inside. Looks to score short-handed. Through the crease and another fresh chance as Squire takes it back. I thought they should have gotten a fresh 30 on that. Now they have finally put it up. Squire, boy, look at this guy work. Pass inside is going to come back to Toll and a whistle. I think they're discussing whether there was a fresh 30 here,
Joe,
I believe.
I didn't think it was a shot on net.
All right. I thought there was.
Shows the power you have.
Well, I changed the clock for them, but then they whistled it down and have given it back here to Rochester.
Well, they took a while to decide what they were going to do.
Look at the play of...
Let's see if he gets his shot. He takes a dive. I don't know. Maybe you're right there, Joe.
He got the ball to the net anyway. It doesn't have to be a good shot. It just has to be a shot. There's a good shot and a good save made by Watson, and the scramble is on. Bullen buries his man. The ball comes free, and Jimmy Veltman has that loose ball, taking it now with a pass for Coyle. Paddy Coyle with a lead pass, but it's picked off there, and good defensive play by Rusty Kruger. Back comes the power play with 20 seconds left in it. Grant will take control. Grant over the shoulder shot. That was blocked. Loose ball corralled by Bullen, and Terry Bullen makes his way slowly up the floor. Gill comes out the front door to add some offense, and now Jim Veltman will control. Bounce pass, and he heads to the right side. Here is Russ Hurd trying to get around Powell. Hurd still with the ball as the penalty is over, and the Rock are back at full strength, having killed off the two power plays that have been given to the Rochester Knighthawks. Now a turnover. Here is Hasen bringing it up the floor. Hasen going to dish it off and head to the bench, as taking it is Duane Jacobs. Now inside for McCready. Pat McCready against Hurd. McCready trying to work inside. The ball's on the carpet. Bomberry has it. Inside move. Couldn't get the shot away. Now it's on the carpet again. And this time it is scooped up by Danny Stroup. Steve Toll bringing it up the floor. Change is coming quickly. If you haven't watched National Lacrosse League action, but maybe are familiar as a parent of a minor lacrosse player in Ontario or across the country, you'll notice they change defense and offensive players every time the ball is turned over. They come out the front door on offense, and they come out the back door if they're working defense. O'Connor can't get to the net. Took a pretty good hack, and then has to throw the ball away as they've run out of time. A timeout on the floor with 3 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Toronto Rock lead by 1, 3-2.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
If you think all ATVs are created equal, you've never ridden a Yamaha. The new Kodiak 400 Automatic and Big Bear 400 from Yamaha. 'Cause out here, bears rule.
Think you can do that?
Yeah, bro, point it! Oh my gosh! Hurry up! Come on, let's go!
Come on, don't stop now!
Come on, hurry up!
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
This is a Molson Export bench report. We're joined by Captain Jim Veltman. Jim, an offensive explosion to start the game, but the defenses have adjusted.
This is what we expected out of this game. We wanted to come out fast, and that's what we did. And now it's hard to get any room out there. Everybody's hitting well. That's what we expected.
Well, it's made for great lacrosse. Thanks for this. This has been a Molson Export bench report. Joe Bowen, back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Good fake there. Sudan trying to work inside and lost the ball, and here is Doyle being chased down. Rochester has some great team speed. They've got a number of guys who can really move. Now a chance. Here's Clark. Scores! Glenn Clark, the Pickering native, makes it 4-2 Toronto on a great outlet pass. Brian?
That was beautiful. Clark just ran up the floor fast. He's a defensive player who's been really chipping in. Glenn Clark doesn't always go to the bench. If he sees an opening, he goes straight up the middle. This is what he did there. I think Rochester might have been expecting a change. He took advantage of the opening. Nice catch. Glenn Clark is having a great year.
That is his third goal of the season. And Glenn Clark makes it 4-2. And so much of this game is momentum.
Let's go!
Exactly, Joel. You'll often see where a team will score 3 or 4 in a row, followed by the other team scoring 3 or 4 in a row.
Veltman couldn't get the ball. That was loose, and now it is brought back up the floor by Randy Mearns. Here is McCready getting it inside for Bomberry. Now back outside, they'll set it up with Molosky, Kurt Molosky. Burnaby, BC. These two teams are very evenly matched and very similar as Veltman steps in front to intercept a pass on a nice play. They are Canadian dominated as far as players are concerned. As going to the bench now with a loose ball in front, Stroup with a shot, didn't get it through.
You're right, Joe. They play very similar styles. They both play the Canadian brand style, box lacrosse. Even though there's a few Americans play for Rochester, they're all very familiar with the Canadian game.
Their coach, Paul Day, is a policeman in St. Catharines, so he is quite cognizant of what talent lays north of the 49th parallel. Here's Powell working behind. Whoops, some of the advertising just went there along with Bullen. Terry will get a bill for that kind of action. Pass inside and a shot stopped by Watson. Loose ball is corralled by Glenn Clark. Quickly ahead for Toll. And now we have a whistle here. Too many men? Too many men on the floor. Let's listen in.
Too many men, Toronto.
Boy, there's been 3 straight penalties here to the Rock.
He pointed to the Rochester bench. I thought he was calling them, then he changed and pointed to the Toronto bench.
However, the Rock had the ball, and so the whistle. Tonight's Rock broadcast is brought to you in part by Midas. Car care the way it should be. Tonight's first period brought to you by AOL Canada. New pricing, unlimited use. Stay on as long as you want.
Well, this will be the 3rd power play in a row for Rochester, Joe, and so far Toronto's been perfect on them, even scoring 1 shorthanded goal.
Now, the too many men on the floor, it's not that someone made a mistake, it's more that someone jumped coming out of the door, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's a bad call because there was nobody jumping into the play. Quite often a referee will call too many men on the floor when somebody gets a head start, either offensively or defensively, but there was nobody near the ball. He'd probably given a few warnings about watching the bench, but I don't think there's a need to call that when nobody's jumping into the play.
Jacobs can't control the ball. It's on the carpet. There's Scoop Veltman with it, and Bullen is down and limping as he gets his stick and heads to the bench limping. Terry Bullen making it there. Loose. Colin Doyle, and a penalty is coming to Rochester. Now the Rock would just like to kill off some time here on the power play. Bullen just trying to get to the bench. Here's a chance inside, and it's stopped as Chris Gill went charging to the net. Terry Bullen is in bad shape or in a lot of pain over at that bench. I'm not sure what happened. We're going to get a look at it here. Watch in front of the net. Bullen with the slash. He may have hyperextended his knee as he tried to stop. And right now he is stretching it out, going to give it a little walk.
2 minutes.
Boarding, 2 minutes. So this will give the Rock their first power play, albeit an abbreviated one that won't start until the second quarter. Minute 7 left in the too many men on the floor penalty called earlier.
Actually, Joe Terry Bolin looks like he might be all right. He just took a short walk on the floor. He's taking a spot back on the bench. Here's the penalty. That's for boarding. You see Colin Doyle picks up the ball here, even though he got hammered there, picked up the ball and nearly scored.
Brad MacArthur is in the box. He is a second-year player, and they score! Chris Langdale makes it 5-2, playing 4-on-4.
There you see a Stroup-like dive from Langdale. It helps when he gets goals. We said we want to get some balance. Toronto needs to get some more balanced attack. And when they get guys like Langdale scoring some goals, he's a great two-way transition type player. But when he can pop in a goal, it really takes the weight off some of the other guys.
So Langdale makes it 5-2. Playing 4-on-4. Graham doing a good job in the face-offs and almost setting it up there. Pat Coyle had crept in as Veltman made a nice pass to him off the near boards.
45 seconds. Toronto's going to be going to a power play, Joe. They're first to the game.
There's only 24 seconds left in this quarter. Toll, Squire on the far side. Veltman with a shot, blocked. It's on the carpet, and Veltman will scoop it up. Here's Squire and Veltman. Toll back to Veltman. Veltman with the shot, it scores! Oh my, what a nice shot! Jim Veltman right over the shoulder of Pat O'Toole, and the Rock, with 2.2 seconds remaining in the first quarter, have opened up a 6-2 lead.
That's something we haven't seen from Jimmy Veltman this year, but they need it. That's some outside shooting. Jimmy Veltman's got a better shot than he gives himself credit for. This is a long outside shot. He drills it into the top corner. When he can start shooting like that, this really adds a lot to their offense and takes some heat off some of the other guys.
That is Veltman's first goal of the season. Langdale had his second of the season, so your point about trying to get some other people to pick up the scoring has been answered here very much in the first 15 minutes. Great goal by Glenn Clark, got it started, and it's 6-2.
I play bridge and euchre, and I play bingo, and I play them on AOL Canada. It's wonderful to be online. I tell all my friends that.
I'm a big sports fan, so one thing I love about AOL Canada is it keeps me up to date with my favorite sports team.
It's so exciting. There's so many things to do. Each little click of the mouse does it for you. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Team Canadian Fantasy Camp, where Canadian hockey greats will train you and 5 friends in skating, shooting, conditioning, and other fine points of the game. Look for a red bottle in specially marked cases of Molson Canadian, plus a collectible Roots tube, free in every case. Team Canadian Fantasy Camp.
It's a Canadian game.
No purchase necessary, must be legal drinking age.
Canucks hockey. Catch these upcoming home games. Monday, March 6th, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thursday, March 16th, the Buffalo Sabres. For tickets, call 280-4400.
Athletic therapist Dave Murray with the lowdown on Terry Bull, and Dave, it looked a lot worse than it really was. Tell us what happened.
Oh, he just got in front of the net and he rolled his ankle a little bit. Just tweaked it, nothing major, no serious injury there. He's an old warrior, so he's going to tough it out, and he's doing well.
Tough cookies, these lads in lacrosse. This has been a Molson Export Bench Report. Joe, back upstairs to you.
Take great exception calling somebody 36 years of age old.
Ready, set.
Oh boy, who's that young pup think he is? Here's Hasen knocking it back into his own zone for O'Toole, and the Rochester goaltender gets it on for Reggie Thorpe. Former Syracuse University star, Thorpe puts it on the carpet, but it's grabbed off by Rusty Kruger.
Toronto's now got a power play, Joe.
Kruger inside. Here's Powell with a behind-the-back pass. Veltman, he's got a man open. Toth is all alone up there. Bullen finds him finally. Here he comes. Kaleb Toth. Fake shot. Bounced it over top of the goal.
Toth did such a great job there of sneaking up the floor that Jimmy didn't even see him. Jimmy Veltman got the ball, and usually he gets it up there really quick, but he's kind of hiding up the floor.
O'Toole plays it ahead. Here's Kruger. Taking it into the corner, now trying to kill off time. 18 seconds left on this power play, the first of the game for Toronto, and it is just a 40-second power play in duration. Jacobs going to get the remainder of it killed off. 1 second left in the shot clock. There it is as Grant throws it into the corner, and Toronto will have 1 second remaining before MacArthur steps back onto the carpet. So they're all even, but a big burst by Toronto to start the game with 3 straight goals in the first 3 minutes and 2 seconds. And then in the final 4 minutes, they score 3 more and make it 6-2. Stroup. Doyle misfired on the pass. Some action along the boards. Doyle couldn't get it, still loose. Gill trying to slash it away from his man, and it's over and back. So it'll be Rochester ball with 13:22 to go in the first half, as it is brought into the offensive area now by Grant. He fakes the little handoff and carries the ball to the far side on the hidden ball trick that didn't fool Lattiser. Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. Chance inside, went high and wide. Grant couldn't get to it. Toronto has the loose ball. And you mentioned loose balls in the opening there, Brian, and they've been very good, the Rock have been, and they were outstanding a year ago.
Yeah, that was one of their strong points last year, and they take a lot of pride in their loose balls. They have team goals of trying to win 60% of them. The last week was a bad week. So far this week, I think they've been ahead on loose balls.
Well, Jim Veltman leads the National Lacrosse League in history in loose balls. By himself, he should have enough to almost outdo everybody else in the opposition, and he usually does.
And not only that, Joe, they've been missing Rod Squire, who was second best.
There's a look at the...
There you see Jimmy Veltman up there this year. He's always leading that, Joe, and Rod Squires last year had the second best loose balls per game. He missed a few games, otherwise he would have been second. The two of them out there are phenomenal.
Russ Hurd with a shot that went wide. And it is brought back up the floor now by Tim Sudan. Getting a little screening action there. Sudan with a little faking move against Squire. Takes it to the net. And he jumped to try and landed right in on goaltender Bob Watson. And in hockey or in lacrosse, that is a no-no. You cannot place your feet inside that goal crease. So you'll see players dive through to get their shot. You see how much larger the crease is in lacrosse.
That's right, Joe. For new fans of lacrosse, the crease, it's not like hockey. You can't go through it. It's actually no man's land. But you can dive as long as the ball's in the air. Before you hit the ground, the goal would be legit. And that's all he was trying to do, make his angle. But there you see him leap before he gets there. Tries to reach around, but not quite there.
Well, the officials are discussing whether there was some goaltender interference, but there has been some penalties handed out. Sudan and Molosky. Let's listen in.
Okay. Okay, Billy. Okay. 5 on 4.
5 on 4. Someone's going to get a power play.
Yeah.
I think they gave Toronto
33. Rochester. Interference in the crease. That's on the goalie. The other two individuals, one aside, 2 minutes each for roughing. Yeah, 1 goes on the clock, the minor.
So the Rock are going to get a power play. Sudan gets interfering with the goaltender, and Langdale and Molosky get roughing penalties.
That wasn't really that bad. I think what Paul Ravery is calling there is that he thinks Sudan purposely ran into Bobby Watson. And that's probably the way the Toronto players feel too, from the way they reacted.
So the second power play of the game comes for Toronto. O'Connor couldn't penetrate the middle, and it is brought quickly back up the floor by Rochester. They have been outstanding scoring shorthanded. So this is an area that the Toronto Rock have to be very leery of and protective. Teat got it down inside and heads to the bench. And it's turned over and now brought back up the floor by Toronto.
You can
Big
see
Russ hurt.
Rochester's not content to just kill it. They're out there trying to score, Joe.
Well, they've had great success at it. Why not? And they've got some good outside shooters.
That's what it is. They've got some outstanding players that want to go to the net.
O'Connor and Doyle exchanging the ball outside. They work the perimeter. Here's O'Connor up stop, and the shot went wide, and the shot clock winding down. Will they get it away in time? No, they did not. Or yes, they did, I guess. They're giving them a fresh 30, but it is turned over anyway to Rochester.
They've only got 10 seconds to get out of their end there.
And did they? No, they did not. Unable to get it over the timeline.
Good pressure by Stroup.
Hasen just about got across the halfway mark, but not in the eyes of the officials, and the time ran out, so the power play continues with 38 seconds left in it. 6-2 Rock here in the second period. Outside, O'Connor behind the back for Stroup. He has to go and get it. Kaleb Toth. O'Connor back for Stroup again. Now it's turned over, and here's Bomberry getting it ahead, and Teat has it on the left side. Off the bench they come. Inside shot, and it just went wide. Good try there by John Grant coming out of the front door. Doyle and Bolin runs over Hasen. Loose in front of the net. Shot stopped by O'Toole. The ball maintained by Toronto. Steve Toll had a great chance in alone. And Terry Bolin.
He's probably not feeling too bad. That was a nice hit there.
Feeling better after the hit, no doubt. Shot went wide. In talking with Bob Watson about the game in Rochester, he said they scored on their breakaways and we didn't. Here's McCready. Pat McCready! Where is it? They call it a goal, and Watson is upset. It must have just gotten in over that line.
I don't think Watson agrees with it.
No, Paul Ravery is right there, though.
Well, they called it a goal. We're going to see if we can see that ball go over the line. Bobby Watson didn't think it did.
It did, I think.
Yeah, from here it looks like it probably did.
My arm's going to go up.
Just
ready, set.
Can't see it from this angle.
Pat McCready gets credited with the goal. He was right on the goal line, the referee. And it just rolled in over the line, so obviously the whistle hadn't gone.
Well, Bill Fox is the referee standing there, and he feels he was close enough that he could see it. So.
Kaleb Toth was knocked down as he tried to go through the crease. And so Rochester with some new life after scoring that goal. It was not short-handed. Might as well have been, though, as the rush was started while the Rock were still on the power play.
Toronto's power play wasn't very effective that time, Joe.
Some quickness here. Stevie Toll bringing it up. Off to the side. Inside shot. Stopped by O'Toole. And the horn goes. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 8 minutes and 51 seconds left to go in the half, and the Rock by 3.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain. CD stereo, upgraded wheels, and a new 5-speed Getrag transmission.
Excuse me. You dropped your earring. Hey! Hi!
The Chevrolet Cavalier Coupe 2000 package for 1.9% purchase financing or $188 a month and more features than ever.
As a new mom, you're home. You're cut off a little bit from the world. I have 54 women that I chat with on a daily basis through AOL Canada. We're all mommies. We share ideas, stories.
I'm a parent, and through the parental controls, my child can be online and I don't have to worry.
It's a really nice way for me to keep in touch with people. It gives me something else to talk about other than baby stuff. And I look forward to it.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain. The Rock's next home game is coming up on Saturday, February the 26th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And Buffalo will be there. And tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Midas. Car care the way it should be. Why not come down Saturday afternoon and enjoy some lacrosse here at Maple Leaf Gardens, 4 o'clock start.
See John Tavares from Buffalo, one of the greatest lacrosse players.
Here's Rochester on the attack. Played over by Mearns. Mearns gets it back inside. A long shot taken by Teat. Went over top of the net, but it is maintained with 9 seconds left in the shot clock. Pass is going to bounce over and back. And Terry Bullen is still down on that carpet as he gets up limping again. Seems to be making it a little better to the bench this time. And maybe during the intermission we'll get a chance to talk to him if he's not being rushed off by ambulance somewhere. He's getting banged up tonight. He's dished out a few and he's taken a few.
Yes, he gives out enough punishment.
Chance inside. Squire was going to the front but couldn't get the ball.
It's that old 36-year-old body, Joe.
Yep, you know what they're like. Stroup. Gill scores! Chris Gill, the Vancouver firefighter, lights up Pat O'Toole, and it's 7-3.
Just a good outside shot. Chris Gill is not known as an outside shooter. He's more of an inside player. Here he adds to his repertoire, takes an outside shot. Beautiful. Threw a screen up high.
That's the team-leading 13th goal of the season.
That was a beautiful shot through traffic.
So it is a 7-3 Toronto lead. These two teams collided in the National Lacrosse League Championship game as the Toronto Rock won their first ever NLL championship in a hard-fought match here at Maple Leaf Gardens. And now the Rock trying to extend. There's a goal scored there by Tim Soudan on an outside shot and a nice low drive.
There was a shot given after the goal. I think he's calling Jimmy Veltman for giving a little bit of shot to Soudan after that goal. But Soudan just did the same thing that Gill did. An outside shot through traffic. It's very tough for a goalie. If you can shoot this hard, not everybody can shoot that hard. But beautiful hard shot, and there's no way that Bob Watson could see that. Just a little hit Veltman gave an O'Brien there at the end. We'll see if we can see it from here. Veltman gives him a little shot there, gives O'Brien, and Paul Ravery saw it and didn't like it. I'm sure O'Brien had probably done something to Jimmy earlier on. So Toronto's going to go short-handed. Once again, it's their best penalty killers in the penalty box.
So Jim Veltman in the box. This is the 4th power play opportunity for the Knighthawks, and Toronto gets an opportunity to kill off some time here with 18 seconds left in the shot clock. Working the outside, and Rochester right now quite content to let them kill off the time as they don't show any enthusiasm to going to the front of the net. The pass for Doyle was intercepted. And Gill, without a stick, has to go to the bench as well as he dropped his stick. On the power play now for Rochester, Kurt Molosky in the corner. Bomberry takes it from him back to Molosky. They play catch with it on the outside. Grant works the top and quarterbacks the power play. Jacobs, Grant inside. Bomberry fanned on it as he tried to get the shot away. Clock at 0 and the goal waved off. No, the goal is waved off as they ran out of time.
That clock had just gone, Joe.
Clark, so the Rock get a bit of a break there, but some good defense provided the break. O'Connor. Ryan O'Connor, St. Catharines. Native of Terrence, British Columbia, lives in St. Catharines now. Here's Rod Squire. Taking it to the net, the shot went over top. And Rod Squire goes after that loose ball and takes in a couple of hits on the way through.
There's a lot of little shots going on here away from the play, Joe. This looks like a game that is very close to getting nasty.
Rod Squire, 5'8", 150 pounds of fire plug. Boy, he is a tough customer.
The Rock really need him.
Here's Grant. You don't want to let him have some room to shoot it. Grant with it again. He gets the shot away, and Watson got a good look at that and got low to make the save. Good play by Bobby Watson. And Bullen is involved in a collision with Grant as they pick each other up. Here's a look at it. Watson had taken the ball back. Now watch Grant and Bullen up at the top here. Here we go. The dance is on. Bullen says, well, this is about as good a way to make sure that Grant cannot score as I know. So Terry Bullen, who's been banged up a couple times, heads to the bench. Molson Export Rock Lacrosse, brought to you in part by Molson Export. Rock this. We've got a timeout here on the floor as the two coaches, there is Paul Day, Rochester, being assisted by Tim Sinkbox and Tom Emick and Buck McCready. And if you're interested, and you should be, about getting down to Maple Leaf Gardens to see Toronto Rock Lacrosse, there's the number to call, 416-596-3075. Individual game tickets or group affairs, why not come down and join us here?
Terry Bullen's been very involved in this game, Joe. He's been given the assignment of covering John Grant.
Is that your kid? Lots of youngsters in attendance, and all of them are having a good time. Some of them aren't quite as well dressed as they should be.
Yeah, when did this start, Joe? This started last year sometime.
Yes, it did, yeah. Got all of them there.
I think they now know if they take their shirt off, they're getting on TV.
Yeah, well, one guy was smart. He wasn't going to paint his chest. He just painted his undershirt. Good going. That's the guy that's going.
He was the one whose mother said, don't take your shirt off.
That's right.
He said, fine.
He's going to medical school. That guy.
Are you ready?
Shots on goal favor the Knighthawks 18-16.
They got 25. They got 5 seconds.
And they are got 5 seconds on the shot clock. I think they're trying to get or maybe to get it over the timeline.
I think that's what it is, because the whistle went. They have 10 seconds to get over half, and they'd already used 5 when they called the whistle.
All right.
I don't think they knew who to assign the blame to on that John Grant, Terry Bullen tackle.
So they said no penalties.
No penalties.
Reggie Thorpe back of the net, loose ball in the corner. Kaleb Toth after it, and gets it back now for Langdale. Langdale trying to work in, the chance is stopped. And it is on the floor again. Veltman trying to dig it out. If you're going to win loose balls, you better be prepared to eat a little carpet. Now the referee got hammered there as Langdale came in and bowled over Brad MacArthur. Now they are hustling to the bench. Play on, McDuff, play on, says the referee. And now someone else. Now I think we've got a penalty. Yeah. Colin Doyle is, I think, getting a penalty, or is it Langdale?
I think he called Colin Doyle on the way to the box. I
I thought so too, yeah, but it's Langdale who's coming to the penalty box. So a break in the action as the Toronto Rock lead by 3.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Think you can do that?
Yeah, bro, point it! Oh my gosh! Hurry up! Come on, let's go!
Come on, don't stop now!
Come on, hurry up!
2 goals and 1 assist for Dan Stroup so far in this game. Dan, this game has developed a bit of an edge.
Yeah, they're hitting pretty good out there. I don't know, we're taking some penalties, so we got to stop doing that. We got to get some more offense going like we did in the first quarter, and hopefully things go our way.
Stay focused as well. Thank you, Dan. This has been another Molson Export Bench Report. Joe, upstairs to you.
Thanks, Paul. Another power play. This is number 5 on the game, second in the quarter. Grant, Bomberry behind the back pass didn't work. Grant with it again. Inside, and a shot is stopped by Watson on a good save. Jacob got that inside pass from Grant. Now it's cleared ahead. Here's Grant again with a shot, and another save made by Watson. On the carpet, another shot stopped by Watson. Another shot stopped by Watson. Bobby Watson having a big penalty kill. Shot goes wide of the net. Bounces back towards the timeline and cut off by Grant. Just did get there. 1:08 left in the power play. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Malosky working and scores! Kurt Malosky on the power play. The first power play goal of the game, and it is 7-5.
Bobby Watson went through a sequence of making a lot of great saves, and then Kurt Malosky just threads the needle here, just finds a slight opening, and that's where they teach people to shoot, on the goalie's glove side away from his stick. That's a beautiful shot by Kurt Malosky, who's always been a good scorer. We're talking earlier, Joe, about how the game's getting a little nasty. There's a lot of stuff happening away from the play, and I think what Toronto's getting frustrated here is that they're getting caught. And it's not always them that's initiating it. Jimmy Veltman got a penalty after a goal, and Langdale got a penalty there, and there's all kinds of garbage going on away from the play, but so far Toronto's been the only team getting caught.
Bobby Watson's peeling off pieces of protective equipment here. Look at the equipment he's got on his arms. Now he's gonna get that tape back on.
Here's the sequence of some of the stops that he made here. You see that they get the ball turned over to them. A nice save right there, beautiful, on Rusty Kruger. He made about 4 great saves before Kurt Malosky came in and threaded the needle with that nice bounce shot to the low glove side.
So it is 7-5, and this game has really ebbed and flowed. The Rock scored 3 to start. Rochester scored the next 2. The Rock scored the next 3. Then they exchanged goals. Now Rochester scored twice in a row and are getting back into the game, trailing by 2, 7-5. The Knighthawks were the second highest scoring team in the league a year ago, and you add John Grant to that mix, and you know why they feel confident that they're going to have a very successful season. And one would think that if you're a Toronto Rock fan, you'd have to think that the playoffs are going to go through Rochester somehow, whether it's here or there. Bullet ran into his man, and another penalty coming. Actually, it's Squire who got the stick up there underneath the chin. And another penalty is coming to Toronto. The Rock were the most penalized team in the league a year ago, but their penalty killing was also the league's best. Now a big collision there, but Casey Powell has it as Veltman is sat upon. And let's see what the penalty call is. It's just going to be the one infraction, and it will go to Rod Squire.
He held him down. Okay.
Sixth power play against just 2 for Toronto, and one of those was just 40 seconds long. High sticking is the call to Squire. He really did get that stick up underneath the chin of the Rochester player. Grant, shot blocked, far side now for Jacobs.
Toronto penalty killing's got to be pretty tired too after the last kill.
Bomberry stopped by Watson on another brilliant save. Veltman brings the ball up and in need of killing off some time, and also, more importantly, as you pointed out, Brian, getting a rest for their penalty killer.
Yeah, you got to give Veltman, Bull, and Clark, those guys just need a rest a bit here.
Well, they're going right back out the back door here when this ball turns over. Colin Doyle trying to make sure they get some time taken off the clock, but the ball is turned over, and Reggie Thorpe makes a good loose ball, but it's turned over again. 1:12 to go in the penalty, and Doyle, with a look at the shot clock, sees 24 seconds. Veltman's back on the floor. He was coming out to play defense. He'll now just work the top part of the penalty kill. Stroup.
Sometimes, Joe, it is better just to kill the time and not try to go to the net if your defense has been overplayed.
Well, they're starting to bring it to the net now, but Doyle had it knocked out of his stick. Here's a chance now for Rochester. Molosky back inside. The shot is stopped by Watson. Grant is back of the net as it comes into the goal crease. Veltman decides to take it back up the front. 30 seconds left in the penalty. 26 on the shot clock, so they can kill off most of this penalty if they choose to. Paddy Coyle was going to the front of the net. Now is tangled up there with Kurt Molosky in front. Gill. Coyle to the bench. Replaced now by Ryan O'Connor. And a long shot scores.
That was just a long desperation shot. Chris Gill, Joe, with 6 seconds left in the shot clock, he just wanted to throw the ball away and get to the bench for a change.
And it's a wonder he wasn't on the bench when it went in.
Gill, but he did get a good shot. He just blind shot towards the net.
And O'Toole never saw it. I don't think he saw it. He almost rolled it in, didn't he?
No, it was a little bit harder than that, but I think Gill was almost running to the bench already, expecting the ball to be turned over. He's shaking his head right now.
Second shorthanded goal of the game for Toronto.
White ball.
And it is Toronto ball off the face-off, so they have very effectively killed this power play opportunity.
Chris Gill will be the first to say he doesn't have an outside shot, but so far this quarter's 2 outside shots. Beautiful.
To bring you this Sports Central special report.
Hey everybody, I'm Mark Hebscher. Dominik Hasek, who last July announced that he was going to retire from the National Hockey League at the end of this season, has decided, I guess, to reevaluate his original decision to retire. That's right, Dominik Hasek apparently wants to stay on a little bit longer, although last July we all figured that we'd never see him again in the NHL. We're going to go to Buffalo Live. There's Dominic in the middle, along with Darcy Regier on the right, the GM of the Sabres, Lindy Ruff, the coach of the Sabres, on the left, and Darcy Regier speaking now, so let's go to Buffalo.
We're very excited to announce that Dominic Hasek has made a decision not to retire. And before I continue, Mr. John Regas had planned to be here today. Weather conditions did not allow him to, but he has asked me to read a statement from the Regas family. The Regas family is delighted that Dominic Hasek has decided not to retire at the end of the hockey season. Knowing how important the Czech culture is to Dominic and Elena, we respected his original decision to retire at the end of this season. We now understand Dominic's desire to end his career with a complete season rather than one shortened by injury. Along with fans everywhere, we look forward to continuing to enjoy the leadership, the excitement, and the intensity that no one can provide quite like Dominic Hasek. So at this time, we can open up to questions.
Dominic, just if you could talk a little bit about when you decided to change your mind, and Darcy mentioned your comments last July about the family. What changed your mind to play another season?
What changed my mind? It was very simple. It's the injury, you know. I just when I made an announcement, you know, I didn't expect to be out for more than half of the season, and I expect to have full good season for the Buffalo Sabres. Unfortunately, what happened in beginning of the season was a bad thing to me, and that's why I changed my mind.
You talked before, Darwin, about your family. You wanted your son Michael to have to spend another year in the Czech Republic. What are you doing in that regard? Is he going to come back here, or what?
Yeah, it was, of course, when I changed my decision, I discussed everything with my wife, and on the end of the day that we decided to do it this way, and we hired a tutor for my son. She spent with him every day like 2-3 hours, and we will continue to do it next year. And it was a tough decision, you know. I think my son, it was the most thing he spent about talking, you know. It wasn't as much about my hockey career. Next season, more we talk about it. My wife is not only our daughter, you know, she's young, she's only 4, she's gonna be 5, so. But my son, you know, it was the biggest issue, and but we decided we can handle it, we can help him, and the tutor can help him. So when we go back to Czech, he can adjust to the life in the other country, on the other continent.
Tell me, will you ever be able to play at 100% healthy level again, where your health is 100% and you're pain free?
I hope so. It's my goal. It's probably not the next day, you know, but I hope one day I'll be back in the best shape. That's what I want to be. That's why I decide to go back and play again. I believe I'll be back in the best shape again and do the best for the Sabres.
When did you make the decision finally? There's been a lot of speculation over the last.
You know, first I made a decision. I tell you something. I didn't make a decision, but first, if you remember that time, I left the ice and came back to the bench. That game, I think Jeff Sanderson, he scored a game where first Miro Shatan, I think he tied against this Florida game, and Jeff Sanderson, he scored a goal like 6 seconds left the overtime. And during that time, I spent in the locker room, and I came to the bench to celebrate, or you know, I started to think about it because I knew it's gonna be bad. I knew it right away. It's very bad. And I just said, oh, it's gonna be tough. But the final decision, I don't know. Mike, is Mike Gilbert here? It was sometimes. What time did I call you? 11:50. 11:50. I don't know. Really, we were talking like 2-3 hours. He called me around 11, and I didn't pick up the phone. And I called him about 6. I don't know, 10 minutes later. So, of course, I was thinking about it. And you wrote something and said something. You know, I talked to Darcy and other people. But like I say, final decision I made. Yesterday, sometimes after 11 o'clock.
Dominic, had the team asked you for a decision in recent weeks? Did they ask you to decide?
No, I can answer that, Kevin, if you allow me to. It's no, we did not. I think to add to I think Bucky or Jim's question here was that we've had a number of conversations. I've had a number of conversations with Dom over the last couple months, and more frequently over the last few weeks, and got an indication actually while we were on the road trip. Dom talks about his final decision. Did you call a friend? His final answer. But I think that, that you could see it was moving this way while we were on the road trip. I think Wednesday we sat down while we were in Nashville and had a discussion about it. And at that time it started to become evident, and then the announcement was important that we get back to Buffalo here and do it at home and not on while we were on the road.
At least nobody had to go to Prague.
That's right.
Okay, there's been a lot of speculation about whether you're going to stick out the season here, whether you would be traded. Last year at this time of the year, you said that if you were to be traded, you would just retire on the spot. Is that still true?
Somebody told me that. I'm surprised I said that. I don't remember. I said if I be okay. I'm really. I'm sure. I tell you the truth. I don't remember that, but. No, there are certain things in your life, you cannot control, and it's other people's decision. It's very difficult sometimes. There's different situation this year, different situation was last year, but I'm glad, to be part of this organization, and I'm glad I could be here today and say that, with respect to all the people they are here, next to me, with respect to my teammates and to the Sabres fans, I just. Actually, it's not easy, to be here and say that after what I said in the summer. But I'm glad it's over, and I said that to the people. And whatever happened, I hope I can stay here and be big part of this organization and do what I want to do here. If not, we'll see.
Yeah, and if I can follow up on that, Bucky, because rumors are just that, and there's certainly been a number of them out there lately. And I have never had a discussion with any hockey club about trading Dominic Hasek, and quite frankly, regardless to what the future holds, and it's not something you predict, but it's our hope that Dominic retires as a Buffalo Sabre.
Darcy, one of you that the team is committed to Dominic this season. Whenever anybody approached you about these trades, you said we are committed to Dom this season. But if his thinking changes as far as retirement, now what? Okay, well, he's here next season. Are you committed to next season as well?
We have no intention of trading Dominic Hasek right now, and I think that's important. And I think if one thing that we've learned is that no one can predict the future, but there is no intention to trade Dominic Hasek.
Even though you know that obviously at some point you're going to have to make a decision with the expansion draft and know what protection problems you face, but two goalies should still keep both the and
Yes, Howard. Yes, I mean, and I'm not going to. I'm going to cut it off there because I think one of the things that's important organizationally is not for us not to get ahead of ourselves. And there's an issue of expansion, which I'm sure someone was going to bring up, and an issue of different protection issues. Those are all things that we'll deal with in the future. And right now, we're excited about having Dominic and knowing that he's not going to retire. And we're looking forward to him playing and helping our hockey club like he has in the past.
Have the other team members been notified?
No, they have not, simply because I think this really came up, as Dominic said last night, where we decided we needed to get it out there, and he had made his final decision and go public, so I've not had an opportunity. Today was a day off.
Dominic, back in the summer, you left yourself a little opening to maybe at this press conference today and come back. Are you leaving yourself an opening right now, say if the team were to win the Stanley Cup this year?
Right now, like I say, no. I have a simple goal. There is about 20 and something games left, and my goal is, to help the team to get to the playoffs. It's my biggest goal, and then in the playoffs, of course, I want to do my job like we almost done last year. So, but I don't want to. No, I said something here, and I don't want to change it. I said I'm gonna play. Very simple.
Oh, I think those are things that we'll address as we go forward. Certainly, there are all of those issues. But at the end of the day, this is a good day for the organization. It's a good thing, and it's you know, without question, there are issues that will have to be planned for, and decisions will have to be made. But it'll be made in the future.
Lindy, you're going to have to give playing time to both.
No, I'm not here to talk.
I wanted to know about it. You know, he's just sitting there. You know, now you're going to have to get some playing time for both Ron and Hasen.
Well, I think that's a nice problem to have right now. Obviously, Dom's health is number one, and we've got a lot of games. We just had a lot of games in so few days. I think that the 1-2 punch we've got right now is probably going to lead us right into the playoffs.
Hey, Dom, another season is a lot more hockey games. Are you excited by that? And when you were out, did you miss not playing, not competing?
Yeah, of course. Of course, I was missing it, and you know, it's hard to describe, but I like this game. You know, I like to play every game. You know, and it's exciting, especially if you see my teammates play like they do last couple of games. You know, it makes my job much easier, and it's much more fun. It's a great feeling to win the game. You know, it's the best feeling is to know to win the game when you don't play well. You know, and you still can go through these obstacles and you win the game, and that's the way we play last couple of games. And I'm excited. I just only thing bothers me is my groin, and I just want to be healthy and do my job. This would be great. You know, if I'll be healthy, I believe I can play great hockey again.
Were any of the reasons financial that you decided to come back?
Not at all. Not even. No.
Darcy, the terms of his contract still the same as they were before?
Same contract. Yeah, everything's the same.
I cannot say. I don't know. Hard to say.
How many conversations do you think you'd have with your wife over this? I mean, was this a weekly thing, a daily thing? How was it? Driving you crazy?
Looking for a little insight there, Bucky, are you?
No, we since probably last 2 months, you know, we talk about it, but like I say, it's, you know, sometimes we didn't talk about it for a week, and sometimes we talk about it more.
Got one or two more questions to wrap up. His decision to come back next year, does that also help in calendar targeting towards the deadline? Last year, already no free agent this year. Would make this team more willing to put more money in the payroll for next year? Now it helps you around another season.
Well, I think the most important thing is the timing of it, and it goes to the question that you're asking. It is important, and one of the things we talked about, and Dom was very aware and respectful of, is the timing of this decision. And we didn't try and influence him in either way, because ultimately this needed to be his decision. But it does give us some time to plan and to look at some options now.
If he doesn't say he's coming back next year, does that change your thinking also? And I know you said you're committed to him this year.
Yeah.
No,
he was not going to be traded. Had he retired, that was something we made clear at the time, and stuck with it, and so that didn't change. I think the thing that changed, you look more at the expansion issue, and certainly we'll have to look at it now. But it's nice to know it's locked in now.
You'll all protect, assuming that you protect Marty and Hasen, and you'll only be able to protect the three defensemen. That means Woolley, Warner, McKee, or Zitnik will have to be exposed.
Well, we were going to lose 2 players regardless. When you know that you have the MVP, past MVP of the league coming back, that's a pretty valuable asset to the organization, and certainly there is some cost on the expansion side in the event we protect 2 goaltenders, but it's well worth it, believe me.
Dominic, is this a big weight off your shoulders just to get this out and not have people kind of wondering what's going on with you?
I don't know. We talk about, if I don't say it, you know, I can say it later, but I think it's better we said it today. And like I say, all the people knows it. Sabres fans, my teammates, that I think it's better this way, because I made a decision. I didn't want to say it before, but I made a decision. And I'm glad I could be here today and say that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Dominik Hasek, who last July said, "That's it for me. I'm retiring at the end of this season. My family going to take him back to the Czech Republic." Just does an about face, just like a goalie, to change his mind too. So let's go back to July. We've got this clip set up because I find it very interesting. Dominik Hasek called a news conference himself last July to end speculation, because people were going wild in Buffalo, especially wondering if Dominik was going to retire, if he'd make good on his threats, etc., etc. So this is from last July. Dominik Hasek, who we believe was sincere at the time, announcing that he wasn't going to be coming back. Let's roll the clip.
I have made a decision that this upcoming season will be my last. I'm announcing it now, so when the season starts, I can minimize distraction for my teammates, for me, Buffalo Sabres organization, so we can concentrate only on hockey. No longer we stay in the United States, the harder it will be for our kids. And the other reason is, especially lately, the attention I have received. It's overwhelming, and it's something I don't enjoy at all. And so I think there is a time to step back to different life with less media and public attention.
All right, so the man says he's going to retire at the end of the season, but since he missed 40 games this year with a groin injury, he's decided to unretire. So in essence, what Dominik Hasek did today was he called a news conference along with the Sabres to announce that he is not going to retire. I believe that's a first in the history of sports, and I also think there should be some kind of a rule, correct me if I'm wrong, that if a player, any player, announces his or her retirement or sets a date for that retirement and then decides to change their mind, they should not be allowed to. In other words, you say you're going to retire, you got to retire. Or don't call a news conference to announce it like Dominik Hasek did today. Kind of a waste of time, I think. By the way, the Rigas family, and John Rigas is the chairman of the board, couldn't get to the news conference today because of weather problems in Buffalo. He said that the Rigas family is delighted that Dominik Hasek will not be retiring. And now we wonder, when Dominik Hasek does finally retire, does actually want to quit hockey and never come back, will anyone believe him because of what happened here? I've also told guys like, guys like Michael Jordan retired and came back. That's fine too, but in this particular case here, I thought that for Hasek to make a decision last July that he was not coming back after this year, and now to change it is just a bit much. He also said he doesn't recall saying certain things. He says, he's told one of the reporters, "I'm surprised I said that. I don't remember saying that." That was a quote from Hasek last year where he wanted to be traded. He felt the Sabres were going to trade him eventually. And today, of course, Darcy Regier, the party line was, well, we have no intention of trading Dominik Hasek. I have spoken to no other general manager about a trade with Dominik Hasek, and I have no intentions whatsoever of trading Dominik Hasek. You're going to get that all the time. So Hasek gets $7 million to stay in Buffalo for another year. That's next year. And we don't know what's going to happen after that as well. He may decide to stay on another year. What if the Sabres win the Stanley Cup this year? He may decide to go back to the Czech Republic. He says his son especially has been taking a lot of English lessons with a tutor, and maybe now the Hasek family feels more comfortable in Buffalo as well. He's got a new line of hockey equipment out, so maybe things look a lot better now than they did in July. We're glad we could bring you the Dominik Hasek unretirement news conference. And we'll now return you to regular programming and invite you to stay tuned for Sports Central later with the complete Dominik Hasek story. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
This has been a Sports Central special report.
And then Duane Jacobs follows it up.
And this is a beautiful shot that you don't see too often. This is one we talked about last year. This is a reverse over the shoulder you're going to see. First John Grant takes the shot, and Duane Jacobs comes. It's a reverse over the shoulder. Not too many players can take a shot like that. Here we'll see it again. This takes a lot of skill. There's only one or two guys on a team who can take that.
Short-handed goal, so it is 8-6. And Toronto has their power play blow up on them a little bit here. Great goal from Duane Jacobs. One of the 3 original members to play every league and playoff game in this franchise's history, and he made a great play there.
You can see why he's the all-time leading scorer in the Rochester history.
O'Connor and Hurd exchanging the ball. Colin Doyle went to the front, but they couldn't get him the ball, and it bounces now back to the timeline with no time left.
Toronto's done some tinkering with their power play since we last saw them. Jimmy Veltman was usually playing up at the top. Now they've got Ryan O'Connor playing up there, and I think he scored 3 goals against Rochester playing up there last week. Well, they don't seem to be very effective so far this week, and this is only their 2nd or 3rd power play.
Dan Ladouceur out there defensively as Grant runs a bit of a pick here for Rusty Kruger. Kruger with the ball, number 20. Dishes it back. This is Tim Sudan. The assistant captains, a shot deflects wide, it's on the floor, and it's gobbled up here quickly and brought up by Steve Toll, showing the quickness that he has as he gets into Rochester territory. Outside pass, Dan Stroup dove through but couldn't get the ball on the net, and it rolls into the goal crease and is controlled by O'Toole, whose lead pass for McCready doesn't quite work. Some good defensive end work by Toll, as his speed at either end of the floor was a big contributor there. Toll's shot goes wide, and it's going to bounce into the crowd and out of play. So there's a discussion here as to where the ball will go. Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Chevy Trucks. Like a rock. It is going, I believe, to Toronto. Yes, it is.
The argument was that the shot went off the goalie into the crowd.
And after a discussion with the officials, Paul Ravery and Bill Fox decide that it did go off O'Toole. So here's Chris Langdale. Pass inside for O'Connor, didn't work. Duane Jacobs, who scored the prettiest goal of the night, got it free, and goaltender O'Toole has the ball. Looking for an outlet, gives it off to Reggie Thorpe. Thorpe up ahead for Randy Mearns. Mearns dished it off. Now it goes to Jacobs. Duane Jacobs, pass inside, and going to the front of the net was Molosky, but it went wide of him, and Toronto has the turnover. Jim Veltman bringing it back up the floor. 11:19 to go here in the 3rd period, and Toronto now by 2. Rod Squire. Chris Gill. Gill for Hurd. Hurd outside, dumps it off, but there's a whistle here, and the ball is turned over to the Rochester Knighthawks.
They called Toronto for a moving pick there, Joe.
Here's Casey Powell. Long strides, gets him into the zone. Powell dishes it off for Kruger. Inside shot, that was blocked. A loose ball on the carpet, but unable to reach it is Pat Coyle. Grabbed off quickly by Tim Sudan, who took the shot and had it blocked. That's why they have another chance at it. Another shot, and underneath the goal. It's right on the line. No! It's held out by Terry Bullen. That was right on the line. You got a great look at it as Bobby Watson made the save. Didn't know where the ball was, but it lay right on the goal line.
And he must have had a feeling it was close because he didn't want to move.
No, he didn't. And we've got another penalty coming here against Rochester. This will give the Toronto Rock their 4th power play. Here's another look at it.
It's another over-the-shoulder shot. Watch the ball. Terry Bullen very coolly came up and pulled the ball back. It'll be interesting to see if Toronto does any change to their power play. They haven't been effective so far. They haven't scored a power play goal. I think they've had one shorthanded goal against.
O'Brien is in the penalty box. There's been only the 1 power play goal scored, and that was by Molosky of Rochester. Hurd Stroup. Oh, he ran into some traffic there. If you're going to go to the front of the net, you got to take your courage pills. Chance by Stroup over top of the net. O'Toole may have got a piece of it. Loose ball. Gill hammered in there by Hasen. Hasen trying to get it Stroup, but O'Connor lends support. And now O'Connor back of the goal. Hurd outside, can't get a shot. Gets some room now. Dishes it back to O'Connor on the far side for Doyle. Colin Doyle holding back to O'Connor, and the shot loose in the goal crease, scooped up by goaltender O'Toole. 1:10 to go in the power play as a lead pass is controlled by Bob Watson.
Rochester's playing a very aggressive box against Toronto, not letting them get the good outside shot. And here Toronto's putting Jimmy Veltman back up top. See if he gets things going.
Veltman and Toth had troubles with it. Now Toth gets it back and hit the goalpost. Oh, did he rocket that shot?
He got a lot behind that shot.
That went off the near pipe.
That came off that pipe so hard and was back in Toronto's end very quickly.
Veltman up top, took a shot, and that was stopped by O'Toole. Chance inside, scores! Chris Gill going inside. That is where he makes his bread and butter, and he scores his third of the game.
Right, Joe, that's where we usually see Gill scoring from. But this goal started because Veltman took the shot. Jim Veltman's got a good shot. He's got to take more. Takes a shot. The rebound comes out. Gill. Nice dive to get the open side.
6:19 the time in the third period, where Gill scores on the power play. The first of 4 opportunities the Leafs, or at least the Leafs, the Rock have converted. Freudian slip there. Dumped down into the Rock zone. Here's Bullen. Bringing it out. Terry Bullen being chased, dumps it off to Doyle, and another penalty is coming. Bullen was hacked at a high stick, and they're going to get this evened up pretty quickly in the third period. Kaleb Toth back for Doyle. Toth fakes, took a shot. Oh, he got a lot on that, and then the shot is stopped by goaltender O'Toole after Langdale went flying through the crease after that rebound. We'll be back with the Toronto power play, a 9-6 Rock lead in the third.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
ZFR series. No compromise.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
And welcome back. Hey kids, coming up in March break, the Toronto Rock is going to spread its wings across the country. Here to tell us about it is General Manager Johnny Meridian, and from Beatrice Gardens in Toronto, Paul Markle. First of all, Johnny, tell us about the camps coming up.
Paul, we've got 3 camps. We have one in Grimsby, Ontario at Lakemount, We have another one out in Langley, British Columbia, and then Paul's going to work with us and have one here in Toronto.
All right, briefly, if the kids are going to get involved, what do they have to do?
The kids get to give us a call. We've got the numbers that we're going to let everybody know during the broadcast, and we'll sign them up.
And Paul Markle briefly in charge at Beatrice Gardens.
Beatrice Ice Gardens at York University. 6 rinks under one roof, a fabulous facility, and we're hosting a Toronto Rock Lacrosse and optional hockey camp March the 13th to 17th.
Big things happening in just a month's time. Let's go upstairs to Joe Bowen. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Paul. Here's Veltman up top. Hurd scores! And Russ Hurd has got to feel good about that one.
Yeah, and you can see how his teammates feel about him too. The reaction from his teammates says a lot. He's been feeling a lot of heat. He hasn't been producing like he can. And that feels good to put that in. And he's a very well-liked guy on the team. You're going to see he just takes a nice shot. Nice outside shot. He's going to pick the corner. Here we see a little screen. The right side. Watch the way his teammates reacted when he scores. Beautiful shot. When Hurd's on his game, he just makes everything look easy.
That's his 3rd of the season, as a big pileup off the face-off is turned over to Rochester. We should say hello to Charlie Wicks, who is Ron Wick's father. Ron is the National Lacrosse League Director of Officials, and of course, as we see Rochester score a goal here to make it 10-7, Casey Powell. Well, Mr. Wicks, 90 years young on Wednesday, February the 16th, and our best wishes there. Casey Powell quickly makes it 10-7 as we get a look on the replay.
He just used his speed here. He beat Pat Coyle to the inside, takes a dive, nice goal.
Here's that great speed.
His game is one-on-one, and I think he kind of caught Toronto off guard there.
Ready, set!
10-7 as Casey Powell scores his first. Watson getting the pass back from his forward Bullen, and Powell gets his 7th of the season, his first of the game. Kaleb Toth, far side for Colin Doyle. Inside for Gill, couldn't control the ball. Gill taken to the wall, now goes back of the goal. Gill trying to come out in front, took a whack there, got a shot away. It's underneath goaltender O'Toole, but time and run out. Back come the Rochester Knighthawks. Here's Casey Powell working in against Steve Toll, and you almost have to match up Toll's speed and quickness to Powell's.
Yeah, that's a good matchup for speed.
Bullen couldn't get to it, a shot, deflects and into the goal crease. It's controlled by Steve Toll. Toll with a long outlet pass out of the door comes Gill, trying to jam to the front. Oh, he got wrapped up there as he went crashing into the net. And Gill is down. Chris Gill is wondering why the official didn't have something go on there maybe, but he is waiting for the athletic therapist Dave Murray to come out and tend to him.
Gill went to the net pretty hard there.
Veltman and Doyle drew assists on Hurd's goal, and Powell's 7th of the season was unassisted, those 2 quick goals.
Watch Gill, this is how he scores a lot. He comes off the bench, and if you're going to go to the net hard like this, sometimes this is what's going to happen. He hit his neck area, looks like, on a post.
15 seconds apart, the 2 goals, and then Gill almost added his 4th of the game with 6:21 left in the 3rd period and being attended to now. And it's his right leg that seems to be the problem.
Well, this carpet, it's like falling on an SOS pad when you get knocked down. And most of the Canadian players all play on the floor in the summer, and with the sweat and the slippery floor, it's not so bad when you fall down.
Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. And Chris Gill looks like he's going to be all right as he makes his way back to the Toronto bench.
He may have been just catching a breather too, Joe.
A wave going around Maple Leaf Gardens. And out come the Rochester Knighthawks. Grant going the distance with a shot and scores! Nice play by John Grant as he took it the distance right from the Rochester end and went right through the middle. And this game is now a 10-8 game.
You're right about going to the distance, Joe. He just took it on himself, and he knew he was going to the net. And this guy is such a skilled player. He's shooting his wrong way. Most players, you push them to the wrong side, you know they're getting a weak shot if they're even going to attempt to shoot at all.
He got the shot away and then paid the price when Terry Bullen hit him, but it was too late.
Ready, set.
And John Grant Jr. has his 9th goal and his 2nd of the game.
He's a left shooter, and I think he scored both of his goals from the right side as a right shooter.
Burns gets it inside to Dan Stroup. And Stroup trying to pull his way to the front, runs into traffic, takes it back outside, pass in for Squire. He got the shot away, but it was blocked. The ball's on the carpet, but it is controlled here by, and then an interference call here may be coming as Stroup got bowled over by Mike Hasen.
He's calling the penalty on Toronto here. On
Are there
Stroup.
two? No, it's Stroup going to the box.
And here we're going to see from the start, what's he going to call Stroup? That's what he called on Stroup, some hold. Now why the fans are reacting is because all the fans saw that interference there by Hasen, but that's a minor interference, that's just a turnover.
So
the call was on the hold from Stroup earlier on.
Stroup gets the penalty. This is the 7th power play opportunity for Rochester. They have 1 goal as it goes wide of the net. Veltman launches it up, and Grant gets filled in by Terry Bullen. Oh, did he get hit? Coyle with the chance, and it bounces over top and into the orchestra. Well, banned.
Terry Bullen said that he played against John Grant Sr. and he was asking John Jr. about him earlier. I don't think he was having any conversation that time.
Oh, he really leveled him. Back on the power play, Rochester with Grant. Took the shot and scores! What a nice shot! John Grant has his 3rd of the game. We should tell fans, how does the 2nd place team in this league end up with a John Grant in the draft?
They traded 2 of their best players to get him, Joe. Darius Kilgore and Ted Dowling, and this is what they got, and this is why they wanted him so badly. What a beautiful shot. And you're gonna see the hit he took earlier from Bullen. He gets back up from that, and the next play on the floor with Bullen in front of him again. And a little bit of payback too. I mean, this follow-through hit Terry Bullen. Not only does he score the goal, and he follows through, hits Terry in the hand.
10-9, here's Veltman, and it's stopped by O'Toole. A big save there by the Rochester netminder. Veltman knocks down the ball, got it back inside for Squire, but misfired on the pass. Rochester has scored 3 straight goals to come from a 10-6 deficit to 10-9. They go back to the offense with a chance to tie on this possession. Loose ball far side. Molosky controls. Inside chance stopped by Watson, and he's got a hold of the ball. Bobby Watson gets it on for Glenn Clark. Pickering native pulls up at the timeline and dishes it off. Here's O'Connor taking it wide. Ryan O'Connor puts the brakes on. Gets the shot away, and he fed it just wide. Gill, who apparently is all right, back onto the floor. Langdale can't penetrate. Got the shot away anyway, and O'Toole went low to make the save there. And we got another collision on the way to the respective benches with Hasen and Langdale, a couple of number 10s colliding. McCready back with Sudan. Now for Kruger to Sudan. Shot from outside was blocked. And here's Steve Toth trying to utilize his speed. Taking it the distance. Off the arm of O'Toole, and it goes wide. Great speed there from Steve Toth. He played in 3 games last year, but is a rookie this season. Grant can't get to the loose ball. Grabbed away by Rory Graham, and things are heating up here in the final minutes of the 3rd period.
2-on-1.
2-on-1 break with Coyle leading it. Pass is too high for Glenn Clark. Back inside. Coyle can't control the ball cleanly. Now dishes it off and heads to the bench for offensive support. Hurd in a Lone Ranger rush here is taken down, and there's a penalty coming. It is going to Rochester as Bob Watson heads to the bench, and a power play will come to Toronto as Watson makes a big save there.
Team Canadian Fantasy Camp, where Canadian hockey greats will train you and 5 friends in skating, shooting, conditioning, and other fine points of the game. Look for a red bottle in specially marked cases of Molson Canadian, plus a collectible Roots tube, free in every case. Team Canadian Fantasy Camp.
It's a Canadian game.
No purchase necessary, must be legal drinking age.
Think you can do that?
Yeah, bro, point it! Oh my gosh! Hurry up! Come on, let's go!
Come on, don't stop now!
Come on, hurry up!
Resisted barbarians, overpowered savages, thwarted the uncivilized. And that was just on the drive to work. Chevy Blazer. Steel-reinforced double-wall doors, powerful Vortec engine. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
When you're playing defense, you're taught to get your stick in front of the guy shooting. Here you see Toll do it, and the ball ended up right in the pocket of his stick. And he goes up the floor and gets a good scoring chance. But that's why you always try to put your stick in front. You might deflect the shot, and once in a while you get lucky and you'll actually catch it.
Jim Veltman adding some encouragement to this power play that has 1:56 to go in it. Tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Midas. Car care the way it should be. They want to get, I think they've had 4 seconds tick off the clock, and they want the full power play.
Stewie, you never
That's
had a ball
what Jim
in this
Veltman
step,
was
Dave.
pounding
So
on the
run down.
Which I guess you deserve, eh?
Yep. If you're going to get the penalty, you might as well enjoy it.
On the clock. 4.
Toronto scored on 2 of their last power plays. They got Jim Veltman back on the bench. He's not on the top of the power play here.
Here's O'Connor, Gill, and O'Connor exchanging the ball. Colin Doyle has been quiet offensively tonight. O'Connor, Doyle, shot, block, rebound, Doyle, rebound, shot it wide. The ball on the floor. Doyle is on the floor, getting up slowly, and out come the Knighthawks as O'Connor trying to get his man knocked over. Doyle going to the bench and is slow to get there, and he is in some pain as he doubles over. Rochester penalty killing, but you know they can score shorthanded. They've done it rather well this season. 3 against Toronto last week. Jacobs sends it around the boards as time had run out, and now Toronto brings it back. Rod Squire heading to the bench. Here's Kaleb Toth.
Colin Doyle's back on again, Joe.
Amazing what a power play will do. It's an almighty healing elixir. Veltman with a shot, stopped by O'Toole, who has come up strong here in the second half. Hasen against Veltman. Here's a nice play by Grant. Grant inside shot, and down low went Watson to make the save. Colin is buried there from behind by Rusty Kruger. And it is turned over to Toronto with 27 seconds left in the power play. Veltman and Hurd exchange the ball. Russ Hurd.
Veltman back up top.
In over top of the net for Gill. Now for Hurd. Trying to get that long reach away and got the shot away, but coming out of the net to cut the angle down was O'Toole, and he made the save. 3 seconds left in the power play. Molosky tries to bring it in. Now to McCready. Pat McCready turns back. Went to Niagara College, McCready did. Playing his lacrosse there. Far side and a shot, and a good one. That hit Veltman in the back, I think. It's kicked to the net and smothered by Watson. 26 seconds left in the quarter as Hurd brings it out. Here's O'Connor. Ryan O'Connor looking for someone going to the net. It was Langdale, but didn't give him the ball. Langdale takes it outside. Number 10 with a long shot. Easy save made there by O'Toole. Gill trying to force him and gave him a little love tap on the way out as O'Toole wandered out of his goal crease. And there is the horn to end the third period. We've got a quarter to go and maybe more as the Toronto Rock hold a 1-goal lead after 3 periods. The score, the Rock 10, the Knighthawks 9.
I am the Rocky Mountains. 100 million years I have stood here. This I know. Lead with the left, follow with the right. Buy low, sell high. Look for windows of opportunity. Take the road less traveled. Keep your stick on the ice. The grass really is greener on the other side. And always maintain an open door policy.
Coors Light, call the Rockies.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
Canucks hockey. Catch these upcoming home games. Monday, March 6th, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thursday, March 16th, the Buffalo Sabres. For tickets, call 280-4400.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
It was a tough third quarter for the Toronto Rock and Colin Popeye Doyle, who really got popped in the neck. How do you feel?
I'm a little bit hurting right now. I think I got wind knocked out of me a few times this game, but 15 more minutes and 2 weeks off, so I got to give it everything I got left. So
they've held you off the score sheet. You're due.
Yeah, that's what the fourth quarter's for, I guess.
All right, best of luck. Thanks for this, Colin. Back upstairs to you, Joe. This has been a Molson Export Bench Report.
If you're interested in getting Rock t-shirts and ball caps, they're available at all 50 cdplus.com and Av stores in Ontario, or if you like, you can purchase them online at www.cdplus.com. And the paraphernalia becoming popular. And here, a 10-9 lead, precarious at best, to start the fourth period. Squire chasing after Powell. You don't want to let him get going. He got mugged and is down. Now, Graham had to figure out which stick he was going to take. Powell is slow to get up. Now here's the Rock playing defense, and Reggie Thorpe having some difficulties with it. Thorpe got run into by Rory Graham, and pushed over towards the bench. The play goes on. A shot is stopped by Watson. And now Thorpe goes into the box, and so does Graham.
Well, Casey Powell could have been too hurt there, Joe. He got up and went down and nearly scored a goal.
Back on the bench and seems to be all right. Being attended to a little bit. Rock on the offense. Here's Colin Doyle. Looks to go inside. Looking around, takes it back outside, flips it back to Veltman. Not much time left on the clock. In fact, no time. They run out of it. Doyle couldn't find anybody and then couldn't get a shot delivered on goal. Back come the Rochester Knighthawks. Both teams 3-1 atop the standings, and this game for first place.
We talk about the Rock missing Kim Squire, but it's not just his goals, it's the way he makes or helps Colin Doyle in this game. The two of them have become so used to playing on that same side of the floor together, Joe. Colin looks like he's a little out of place without Kim Squires there.
Here's Gill trying to get wide. Squires is having his ankle reassessed today. He injured it and broke it in a game here of the first home game. Brought back now by Rochester. This is Zaph. Casey Zaph scores! And the game is tied! Casey Zaph as Rochester runs 4 in a row. And they've come all the way back from a 3-0 deficit in the first 3 minutes of this game. And the game is tied.
That was just a nice shot from Zaph. I think everyone was expecting to hold up, set up the play. Just a nice hard outside shot. It looked like it was turning into a 3-on-2, but he wasn't waiting for help. He just whipped that shot in.
So Casey Zaph has tied the game with his second goal of the season. And both teams have gotten some scoring from unlikely sources. Now here's Rochester again, and Watson comes up big there. Grant back to the goal, and Bullen is bullying him. Tried to throw it over his shoulder, then got it away, and it is Veltman after the loose ball. Grant chasing him as Clark gets the outlet. Grant's equipment's coming out piece by piece. Here's Kaleb Toth, couldn't get free. And O'Toole plays it ahead. The shots are 40-38 in favor of Rochester. Good save made by Watson off Powell, who got filled in after he got the shot away. They're going end to end. Steve Toll dishes it off. Kaleb Toth takes it into the corner. Toth dumping it back for Stroup, and they exchange the ball, and now here's Colin Doyle off the bench, and the shot went off the goaltender and into the crowd, and so it will be Toronto ball. 30 seconds, a fresh 30 on the clock. 12 minutes to go in the fourth period. There is sudden death overtime in the National Lacrosse League. Kaleb Toth was knocked down. Stroup saves it. Good play. Doyle inside. Stroup. Good save made by O'Toole. He left his feet. Ball turned over. Doyle's got it again. More changes made for Toronto. Doyle getting some much needed oxygen at the bench. Nice maneuver there by Kaleb Toth. Now to Veltman. One of the sticks has been broken down in the Rochester end of the floor. Toth is jammed in against the wall. Referee getting it cleared and back to the Rochester bench, the broken stick. Here's Reggie Thorpe. Bomberry on the right side for Molosky. Teat got it inside. Grant got the shot away, but it bounded wide. Bomberry has the ball. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Bomberry in front of the net. Grant has it on the carpet, and then he's on the carpet. And time will run out.
Terry Bullen just ran over Grant. You can see the frustration in Grant.
So we've got penalties coming to both players later tonight. Join Mike Toth and Jamie Campbell for Sports Central Prime Time. After the lacrosse game, highlights of the Senators and Panthers from Ottawa, Oilers and Penguins from Pittsburgh. The NFL free agent signing period has begun. It all gets underway, and you'll be able to be brought right up to date with Sports Central as we see those two players in the box, and that's as good a spot to keep Mr. Grant as any.
Terry Bullen's been all over Grant, and they saw Terry ran him over there, not shift, and Grant let out his frustration with a cross check back.
A chance off the crossbar taken there by Chris Langdale, didn't work. Now MacArthur brings it up. Brad MacArthur from Rochester, New York. Got it ahead. Sudan is crushed by Coyle, and they call over and back. Oh, did he get hit? Tim Sudan is back up on his feet, but Paddy Coyle really launched into him.
It was a great hit, but his main purpose of that hit was just to knock him over that line, and that's what he did to get the ball back.
Hurd, shot is scooped up by O'Toole. He's played exceptionally well since about midway through the second quarter.
O'Toole is showing why he was the MVP of the Mann Cup 2 years ago for Brampton Excelsiors.
10-10 is our score with 10 minutes left in the fourth period.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
I play bridge and euchre, and I play bingo, and I play them on AOL Canada. It's wonderful to be online. I tell all my friends that.
I'm a big sports fan, so one thing I love about AOL Canada is it keeps me up to date with my favorite sports team.
It's so exciting. There's so many things to do. Each little click of the mouse does it for you. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Sometimes my car makes some squeaky noises, especially the brakes. Brakes are the most important parts of my car.
Right now, get Midas lifetime brake pads for just $88.88 per axle after your $10 mail-in rebate. Go Midas.
It's a bargain.
You can catch all of the Toronto Rock action right here. And here's our remaining schedule. Buffalo Bandits, the Pittsburgh Crossfire, and the Albany Attack, the new team in the league. And tonight's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. Coach Les Bartley looking on, and a 10-10 tie with 10:03 remaining as Paul Day gets a little refreshment. In a hard-fought game between the two premier teams in this league, Philadelphia is also 3-1 going into weekend action.
Well, this is what you'd expect here, Joe.
Yep. Jacobs, nice pass inside, and Watson got an elbow in front of that shot from Dan Teat. Here's Teat with it again. Misfires on a pass for Jacob. The ball is loose, but unable to get to it there was Glenn Clark. Ladouceur overran the ball, and it is grabbed off now by Teat. Teat back into the slot. Dan Ladouceur hasn't played a lot here tonight, and I'm wondering if there's an injury problem or not. Into the slot, backhand play there by Casey Powell, and Veltman's got the loose ball. Veltman for Ladouceur. Ladouceur with a lead pass and misfired on the feed, trying to get Steve Toll.
I think Ladouceur was a bit confused there, waiting for Toll to go to the bench for the guy to come off. And then when he realized that Toll wasn't going, he made the pass, just as Toll had his head turned the wrong way.
Sudan working in front. Squire checking him, hacking and whacking. Drop back now for Mearns. Mearns with the shot, and that bounds wide and quickly off the end boards. It's controlled by Glenn Clark. Rod Squire. 8:37 to play in the fourth period, and the Rock and the Rochester Knighthawks are tied 10-10. Kaleb Toth, 22 years of age. Colin Doyle. Kitchener native trying to take it wide, got a bit of a pick from Gill. Nice feed for Gill, and a big save made by O'Toole. Gill's through the crease and is flattened there. But he was going through the crease, and you can't do that. The hit of the game is brought to you by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. This is just a simple over and back call.
Just
you
over
came
back.
over, and I put you back.
That's Pat Coyle showing the muscle. He wants to impress his young daughter, who is here at Maple Leaf Gardens for the first time. Joe Kiera is here watching her dad. I'm sure she's proud of him.
Doesn't want to get hit by him. I know that. Boy, not like that. That was a great hit. Here's Casey Powell. Kruger got away from Ladouceur, then got flattened by Ladouceur. The ball is smothered by Watson, and Molosky almost got swatted there as he tried to stick that stick inside the goal crease area.
The way these goalies are both playing now, it's hard to imagine another goal coming.
Well, the next one could be very important, obviously, to break the tie, but like you say, there aren't many coming. And a shot rang off the crossbar. Gill is able to keep it alive, but paid a price. Here's a chance for Danny Stroup. Stroup with the shot, and he fed it wide. Hurd with the rebound off the end boards. Time a factor with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Veltman inside, Doyle fed it wide. Nice try. Another try then by Stroup. Some good pressure here by Toronto, but they do not get anything in behind Paddy O'Toole. Back come the Knighthawks. McCready got slashed on the wrist and heads to the bench in some pain. Here's Molosky for Teat. Dan Teat lays it back for Cory Bomberry. Bomberry trying to go wide on Coyle. He does. Inside. Chance stopped by Watson. Bobby doesn't know where it is, but he's got tangled up with his goal stick. And now he's able to outlet the ball for Coyle. Pat Coyle. Long pass, far side for Kaleb Toth. And it's dropped back. O'Connor for Colin Doyle. Took the shot, and standing up nicely there was O'Toole. Shots are almost as even as the game. 45-44 in favor of Rochester. Casey Zaph, whose goal tied the game, heads to the bench. Here's Powell. Sudan. Tim Sudan trying to get around Ladouceur. He does, and he shot it over top. Loose ball into the corner now, controlled by Kruger. Kruger takes it to the far side. McCready looking to make a play inside. Couldn't. And it's turned over to Toronto on time violation. 5.5 minutes to play in the fourth period. Squire. And now Gill. Gill has the hat trick and has been the Rock scoring leader here tonight, and leads the overall scoring in the season. Stroup can't find room inside to make a play. Gets a bit of a pick from Toth. Outside for Hurd. Hurd to the backhand, now to the forehand, and again O'Toole is there to make the save, and each goaltender taking his turn to come up large.
They've both been standing tall the last 6 minutes here.
And Teat.
Both teams are putting on their A offense every time they get the ball.